Addressing the teacher shortage right here in California, there's a bill with bipartisan support to increase teacher pay by 50% by the year 2030.
Our political reporter Morgan Reiner joins us now from Sacramento with details. Morgan.
Now, the author of the bill says teachers are paid significantly less than college graduates in other fields. It's getting more difficult to convince people to enter into teaching if they can't afford to live on it.
Elena Royale is a special education teacher in San Francisco.
I have no savings. Rent takes up nearly my entire paycheck. And up until 3 years ago, I lived with my parents.
And she says the school she works for can't find people to hire.
Our school has found it almost impossible to recruit teachers and paraprofessionals. In fact, it has gotten so bad that we have 2 paraprofessionals teaching class this year, even though they don't have credentials.
So teachers from across the state lined up to show support for AB 938 in its most recent committee hearing.
I do teach in the morning and in the evening from 9 and from 8 in the morning all the way to 9 p.m. I strongly support this bill.
The bill is authored by Assemblymember Al Morasucci, the chair of the Assembly Education Committee.
If we want world-class schools, we need to pay teachers and essential school staff what they deserve.
The bill would raise salaries for teachers and school staff by 50% by 2030.
As a former school board member, I still hear from my districts all the time.
Republican Joshua Hoover says education has to be a top priority.
I know we're going to have a lot of budget discussions this year on what our priorities should be as a state, particularly given the budget position that we're currently in. But I think education has to be our top priority.
The bill passed out of the Education Committee and is headed to the Appropriations Committee next. That committee's job is to review all bills that have a fiscal impact.
You heard what Republican Assemblymember Hoover alluded to. The state is facing a projected $22 billion deficit. So even if this does have strong bipartisan support, there are going to have to be some tough decisions made in the Capitol. But Al Morasucci points out this bill is a 7-year plan, doesn't kick in until 2030.
Still a lot of work to be done, and that's far off. But if this bill does happen to pass, those new salaries, they're going to be based off of local formulas, right? Taking into account where people live.
Exactly. It's not one big blanket salary across the state. Each local school district has a funding formula in place that they would have to update. And part of the bill also requires school districts to track the progress of the wage gaps.
What happens between now and 7 years from now? Well, that remains to be seen. Morgan, thanks.